Have you ever felt stuck in the same routines, questioning if it's too late to rediscover a sense of joy, purpose, or adventure? Meet Edward, a 68-year-old man who thought his best days were behind him. Edward's story is proof that transformation is possible at any age, and through his journey, you'll discover how small changes can spark massive results. Stay with us as we uncover the simple yet powerful habits that reignited Edward's passion for life, reshaped his mindset, and inspired an entire community. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest content. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you find today's topic meaningful, comment 1 below. If it doesn't quite hit home, comment 0. Your feedback helps us create better videos tailored to you. Edward's life before change. Edward's days were a haze of repetition, each one blending into the next without meaning. Widowed for over 12 years, his mornings always began the same: a steaming mug of black coffee and a slice of buttered toast on a plain white plate. Not because he loved it, but because it was what he had always done. After breakfast, the hours stretched endlessly. He'd sit by the window, watching life go by. Dogs being walked, children riding bikes, joggers pounding the pavement, all full of motion and purpose. While Edward felt still, forgotten. Evenings brought no comfort. He slouched in his favorite armchair, wrapped in a blanket, the flicker of the TV reflecting in tired eyes. The silence of the house echoed louder than any program could fill. He told himself he was content, but deep down he knew he wasn't. Years of inactivity had left his body stiff, his muscles weak, his energy nearly gone. He thought this was just part of getting older. "This is how it is now," he'd mutter, resigned to aging. But loneliness was heavier than any ache. Since losing his wife, Edward had retreated from the world. Socializing felt exhausting. Even a neighbor's polite smile could feel like a reminder of what he had lost. A moment that sparked everything. Then one quiet Tuesday, Edward went for a walk in the park, a half-hearted attempt to break the monotony. The air was crisp, the scent of pine and cut grass hung faintly, but Edward hardly noticed. And that's when he saw Margaret, a 64-year-old woman who moved with ease and confidence. She wasn't jogging, she was gliding. Her cheeks glowed with health. She greeted strangers with nods and smiles, her energy magnetic. Their eyes met and Edward felt something stir, a flicker of warmth. Maybe hope. Margaret slowed down, smiled warmly, and said, "Beautiful day, isn't it?" Startled, Edward managed to reply, "Yes, it is." Her voice, kind and full of life, stayed with him long after she jogged away. That single moment sparked something Edward hadn't felt in years: curiosity, a longing to reconnect with life. The encounter that changed everything. The next time he saw her, she paused again. "Hi there," she said. "You know, I started jogging a few months ago. I felt stuck too. But even a small change, just coming here, started to turn things around." Edward hesitated, then quietly replied, "I wouldn't know where to start. Feels like it's too late for me." Margaret met his eyes and said, "It's never too late." Her tone was so sure it cut through all his doubt. "You don't have to fix everything," she added. "Just choose one small thing to begin with." When she invited him for coffee across the street, Edward almost declined. But something inside nudged him, and he said yes, taking the first step. That very next morning, Edward stood in his kitchen staring at a bowl of oatmeal, blueberries, walnuts, warm and new. He missed his toast, but he took a bite, and surprisingly, he liked it. The change felt good. A few days later, he searched beginner stretches on YouTube. The first attempt was awkward. He couldn't touch his toes. His balance was shaky, but it didn't matter. He showed up for himself. And by the end of the week, he was starting to look forward to his morning stretches. He felt different, more alive. His posture improved, his steps steadier. Rediscovering joy in movement. When Margaret invited him to join her walks, Edward hesitated. "I'll slow you down," he said. Margaret just smiled. "It's not about speed. It's about showing up for yourself." So he walked, slowly at first, But day by day, step by step, the fatigue faded, and with it something returned. The ability to notice life again. The trees, the sunlight, the birdsong. Morning walks became a ritual, not just with Margaret, but with himself. Building momentum. Inspired, Edward began cooking again. Real meals, salads, roasted vegetables, grilled chicken. With Margaret's encouragement, he tried mindfulness. Then journaling, a few minutes of silence, a few thoughts on paper. He wasn't surviving anymore, he was thriving. A ripple effect. Neighbors noticed, his children noticed. Even his 10-year-old granddaughter wrote a school essay titled, "My Grandpa, My Hero." Edward's story became contagious. He started a walking group with Margaret. It grew from 3 people to dozens. They called it Steps of Renewal. It wasn't just exercise, it was healing. Leaving a legacy. Edward wrote a book, Never Too Late to Begin Again. It touched thousands who had quietly wondered, is there still more for me? When he passed years later, a tree was planted in the park where it all began. A plaque reads, "In loving memory of Edward, who proved that it's never too late to begin again." What about you? Edward's journey reminds us it's never too late. Not at 68, not at 78, not ever. So what will your first small step be? A walk? A new breakfast? A conversation? Start small. Show up. The rest will follow. If Edward's story moved you, leave a heart in the comments. And if you're ready to take your first step, tell us what it is. Let's change. One story, one step, one life at a time.